Hello everyone, this is my ranking slash tier list for the worst games ever, Atari 2600 edition. Now, if you haven't seen my live stream, go check it out in the live section of my channel. I played through all these games and more. These games were not picked by me. They were what I found on lists or AVGN videos or vice versa. So I haven't really had experience with these games until a couple days ago when I did the live stream. Now, I did play more. I did play some suggestive games like this, but those were more of a bonus at the end because they weren't really on any worse lists, and most of them weren't that bad because they're stolen games. Like they were just Kaboom, and Kaboom's not a bad game. Custer's was the only one that was like actually on the worst list because it's infamy. So that's why I have it here. This game was on some list. I mean, since I'm talking about Custer, I might as well go and do it, right? So let's see. Custer's Revenge is a very offensive game, I guess. I mean, it's pretty tame nowadays, but I mean, it's still like something you would never see today. And I know it pissed a lot of people off, which is why it kind of got like this worst game tag. Don't be wrong, it's not a good game, but like I feel like a lot of the hate was more because of what the game is than the actual game itself, quality-wise. It's just a very generic kind of like arcade game. You just get to the girl, mash the button, get some points for banging her. It's kind of funny how stupid it is. But this game isn't that good. It's pretty pointless. What's annoying about it is the spears don't go all the way down, so it actually makes it kind of annoying to play it. If that issue was fixed, it wouldn't be that bad just to like get your points up. But another thing is every time you get hit or to start the game over, you have to hear this annoying sound bites that take forever to play just to play the level. It's kind of annoying. So I guess bad tier. Like it's playable and there's stuff to do, but I mean, I'm not gonna like go all sports game ever because it's so offensive. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just so old and tame. It's like I just hard to get offended by it. And plus, I mean, I'm not really Native American, but I feel like if you were, maybe it would piss you off more. How stupid this game is. But maybe it was just made to be offensive with his stupid hairy ass, which probably was. Next up, I gotta do Pac-Man. Like this game shocked me. I mean, I know it's not as good as the arcade, but why do people dislike this so much? Like apparently, people are disappointed by this. I'm sorry, but for the Atari 2600, I think this is the best you can do, and it's Pac-Man. It's a fun game. Like, is there something I'm missing? I know they made a lot of them, and people were like, "Ooh, it's not as good as arcade." What'd you expect? It's an Atari. So for the first time ever, I'm gonna be using this tier that I thought about getting rid of for my other videos, but I guess I'm actually using it. The Pac-Man Atari seems to be actually good. Um, yeah, what a surprise. Next up, might as well do E.T. here, the most infamous one, the reason I did this whole list. Um, so, as many people have played E.T., yes, it's a bad game. However, most people who played it will tell you it's not the worst game ever. Its reputation kind of supersedes the actual game quality. Don't get me wrong, it's still a piece of shit. This game is like the straw that broke the camel's back for the video game industry with all these other shit games, and the fact they printed so much of this crap. The game itself, like you could tell there was like a concept they wanted to go to, and it's not like that badly thought out, but it was just too rushed. And no, like what was it, like one or two developers? The main problem with this game, if they just fix this one issue, it'd probably be like maybe mediocre or okay tier. But the problem is the collision slash getting out of those fucking holes is so annoying. 90% of the game, you're just going up and down in the holes where you just want to play the game, but you can't do it because you touch a pixel of the hole and you fall in, and then you have to go back up and you fall back down. So if you like doing that, you like this game. So I guess it's bad. Like technically, I'd rather play Custer's Revenge again, but there's more to ET, and they're both infamous. You know, I guess I'll put ET higher because if you just get around the holes, it's more of a game than Custer's Revenge. I can't quite put it in dog shit. So yeah, E.T. It's very infamous. I'm not giving it any praise, but it's definitely not the worst game ever, as most people would say. It's just infamous. Let's see. Sneak and Peek's an interesting one. This game, technically speaking, I could put it like at the very bottom because like Where's Waldo and Color Dinosaur on the NES, it is one of those games where it's like, why not just do the same thing in real life and it's kind of better. But I don't want to rank it as harshly because one, it is Atari, and two, there's not much it did particularly wrong. It's just a pointless thing to do. Like Color Dinosaur specifically does it worse. You know what I mean? And Where's Waldo is also just worse. Where this, it's like, I mean, they did the best they could on the Atari, It's still kind of pointless. I mean, you have okay graphics. It's nice that you have all these places to go hide, but the problem is you have to hope your other guy's looking away while you do it. And the other big problem is, like I said, you just do it in real life. So I want to keep it just out of worst games ever, but it's still dog shit. I was reading that some people kind of enjoyed it as a kid just for a little bit of fun, but it is kind of pointless. So it's basically on the cusp, but at least there's some charm to it. So I'll give it dog shit. What do I want to do next? This Amadar cover is just bothering me. Like, what is this gorilla? Like, I played the game, but like, what is this cover? Like, it doesn't do it very well. This is the one where you just make like squares and get points. It's not that bad. I mean, it's a little annoying that like you move slower than like the enemy things. I wish it was more like Pac-Man where you have to avoid them with skill instead of just like, well, I guess I'm gonna get caught here. And the actual gameplay is not bad. I wish the button was a little better than just turn enemies black to go through them, but like for what the game is, it's a fine game. I guess it's okay. I wish it was better. I mean, I think this could actually be a good game if they just fix a little issues. So I guess that's a perfect, seems to be okay tier. I just don't ask about the cover though. We got these shitty Mythicon games, but I think Sorcerer's a Mythicon game too. I might as well get the sports games out of the way. Karate's basically Karate from the NES, but worse graphics and worse gameplay. Actually, the gameplay is the same. You just button mash. I guess if you were really bored and just wanted to mess around as a kid, you might find some fun out of it. So I guess it's just dog shit tier. Like I'm being a lot more nice these Atari games because like it's so limited what you can do versus NES. So like even though this is dog shit and I've had some games on NES as worst games ever, like I still probably consider these worse than some of the NES games, but I'm just doing it per console. Golf's also pretty bad. I think they're both dog shit. I feel like golf's more interesting though, because instead of just these squiggly guys, you have like an actual maps, and at least I think there's some control you can do to it if you, I guess, figured out the weird angles to the game. Both of these games, I feel like if you just really tried to have a little bit of fun, I guess you could squander something out of it. They're really bad. I guess they're better than Sneak and Peek because at least there's a purpose to them. But they're both pretty pointless games that are absolute crap. Next up, Snake, or Susa Snake. This is a weird one. At first it seems pretty bad, but like once you figured out what the controls were like locked into the corners and you're just like I guess a shooter kind of game, it's like okay. I don't think it's good as Amadar. Would I put it in mediocre though? I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong about it, so I guess it was an okay game. Um, yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about this game. You're just kind of like a snake that shoots shit, and it does what it does. And now the Mythicon games, these guys sucked. Sorcerer Star Fox felt like barely finished games, but they were playable. Like they were just bad, like side scroller, bad space shooter. I don't think they're quite as bad as ET or Custers though, so maybe they're in the mediocre tier. Like I feel like these games just had a little bit more development, they'd be okay. Like Star Fox wasn't that bad. You just the landing kind of was annoying. So I guess I put it mediocre. And Sorcerer I think was worse because like the level just kept repeating, but like it wasn't bad. It was just repeated. I think Star Fox is a safe mediocre, but Sorcerer could move into bad. It's right on the cusp. I'm gonna keep it mediocre for now because it's very similar in quality. And Firefly. Where am I gonna put this one? Yeah, I have no debate. This is the worst game I played here. This one is a shit stain on the Atari. The graphics are barely anything. You have that stupid Mythicon thing where like, ooh, you gotta select your game mode. You're on tutorial or whatever. But the game is you kill or eat the Firefly, and then that's it. You just reset the game, it felt like. It was so pointless. I'm like, this is terrible. There's like no game. It's like basically a part of a demo. I can't imagine spending, I know it says $9.95, but I guarantee they probably cost more. Like, holy shit, what a waste of a game. This is easily worst games ever. I mean, some of these could have been moved to worst games ever, but they still want to be worse than this. This is easily the worst Atari game. And it seems like most people agreed when I looked up. Most people say Firefly, which is absolute dog shit. But I'm looking over. I think my list is... I think I'll keep it like this. Like I said, I didn't grow up with Atari. I'm a lot younger. I grew up with GameCube and Wii. So I don't have a lot of nostalgia with these guys. So I'm not trying to be too harsh on them. I know how limited the era was, but they were a little bit more promising than I thought. I have played a couple of these before, like on the flashback consoles. Like I've played golf and karate before, I think, and I know I've tried ET before, but very shortly. But yeah, that was Atari for you. Um, Next up, I'll be doing N64, and I'll spoil two games that are obvious, so it's not really a spoiler. I'm gonna be doing Superman, aka Superman 64. It's actually just called Superman, and Bubsy 3D. They're not really spoilers because, come on, those are like easily the worst games on the console that most people say. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't watched my Atari live stream, go watch it now. It's on my tab on my channel. I did NES and SNES as well, tier list and live streams, and continue with my journey of finding the worst games ever. Thank you for watching.